Okay? Yes. Good morning, Kahal Kadosh. Monday, the 18th day of Kislev, the 16th day of December 2019. The Lighthouse Live Video Aventura Project לעילוי נשמת דבורה פייגה בת שמואל, אורה דבורה בת שמואל, אסתר רבקה בת אברהם, מוניקה מרים בת פני, מנחם מנדל, בן אלחנן עליהם השלום. The iTorah.com dedication for the שידוכים of נחמדינה בת חנבתי, אליהו חיים בן אסתר, אליהו רפאל בן פרחה, רחל בן עינה בת ג'ני, שרה שמחה בת צופי, בעזרת השם they may find שידוכים speedily in our days, amen. Also those that their names were not mentioned and they are in the שידוכים list. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. Amen. The Gemara of today from Masechet Shabbat 89b, one of the most famous Gemarot that discusses how HaKadosh Baruch Hu handles the Jewish people when we don't behave properly. When we don't behave properly, please don't point fingers to anyone as I'm talking, because we all have our package, our luggage, the way the Gemara says in Masechet Megillah, Hakol min hashamayim chutz mi'irat shamayim. Everything is guided from the heavens with the exception of the behavior of the person. The person has the power to change, the person has the power to improve, and the person has the power to repent and become all they can be. Although this is an army slogan, I think be all you can be. This is actually from the Talmud in Masechet Ta'anit, Mechila, Masechet Megillah 25, page 25, I believe. Anyways, let's go a minute or so for the Gemara of today. The Pasuk says, interesting Pasuk in the Navi Yeshaya that says, Im yu hata'echem kashanim kashelek yalbinu. If the sins of the person will be red like a piece of wool that has been dyed with red color, they will become white as the snow. Kasheleg yalbinu. They will be purified. Obviously, for teshubah to happen, a couple of requirements must be met. First of all, above anything else, the goodwill of the person. The goodness and the willing of the person to do teshubah. And with that, I'd like to bring an additional component that yes, the person needs to have the goodwill to do teshubah to a certain extent, but also to do teshubah, siyata dishmaya is required. Heavenly help. The world of nisyonot, the world of challenges, the way we know it, it's complicated. There are challenges left and right. There are challenges constantly surrounding our life. And I'm not talking about the challenges of the street, even the challenges in the synagogue, in the way that people interact with each other, in the way that a person provides or gives the proper decorum. But let's see how our forefathers handles the behavior of Am Israel. This is a very famous Gemara in Masechet Shabbat. Thank you. This is a very famous Gemara in Masechet Shabbat that says, Le'atid labo, prior to Mashiach's arrival. And we can comfortably say that we are very close to Mashiach's arrival. Now, I cannot answer you that question. Now, could be now. This is part of your daily prayers, our daily prayers. What do we say? Ki lishoatecha kivinu kol hayom. We don't say kol yom. For your redemption we have hoped throughout the day. We don't say every day. We say kol hayom, which means, the Pasuk writes, Teshuat Hashem ke'eref hain. The redemption of the Almighty can come like the blink of an eye. The Pasuk says in the Navi, Pitom yavo hayom asher atem mehakim. Suddenly, unexpectedly will come the day that you have been waiting for. So comes the Gemara and it says, Le'atid lavo, prior to Mashiach's arrival. Could be now. Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu le'Avraham. God will say to Abraham Avinu, very famous Gemara, Hatuli, your children have sinned against me. What should I do? What should I do? Amar lefanav, Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, Imahu al kedushat shemecha. Tell them who is in charge. What does it mean? Don't show favoritism. They did right, they get rewarded. They did wrong, they need a wake-up call. Okay? God expected that Abraham Avinu, being the master of compassion, of mercy, of benevolence, he was going to tell God, let it go. But Abraham says, you know what? You need to discipline. Discipline is important in life. Okay. God says, you know what? Amar, God says, Emar le Yaakov. Let me go to Yaakov Avinu. Dehava leSa'ar gidul banim. Everyone agrees that Abraham Avinu went through challenges. 10 of them, the way the Mishnah writes. But the challenges of Yaakov were greater challenges than Abraham. Abraham Avinu's challenges were challenges of the foundation of Am Israel as a nation. They were isolated, individualized marketing plan. It's like a business. You know, you make a proposal to a company. What they tell you, show me a marketing plan for my company. For example, so Yaakov Avinu, let's think for a minute, how many headaches Yaakov needed to overcome with his own family, starting with Esav, then going to Lavan, whatever Lavan did to him. This week's Torah portion, Yosef. Last week's Torah portion, Dinah, Shimon, Levi. Further on in the Perashiot, Yehuda, Shimon, Levi, Binyamin. The incident with the goblet, with Yosef. So if you look at the life of Yaakov Avinu Hazit, his children gave him a tremendous amount of Sa'ar Gidul Banim. Sa'ar Gidul Banim literally means the struggles of raising children. And guess what? It didn't change. The challenges of being a parent today is very challenging, especially if you have teenagers. So celebrate and enjoy that your kids are young. Pray that they remain young, because as they grow older, they come with bigger challenges, more responsibilities, etc. Efshar, God says, De'ba'e rahame alayhu. Maybe Yaakov will have a soft spot in his heart, and he's going to say to God, okay, listen, my kids also didn't behave the best, and still my love was not negotiable. Amar le, so God says to Yaakov, Banecha hat'u. Your children, meaning to say, Am Israel is not behaving good. Amar lefanav. Yaakov says to the Almighty, Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe. What's the question? Imahu al kedushat shemecha. One of the great midot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Pasuk says, Asher lo isa panim belo ikach shohad. You cannot bribe God. And God does not recognize the face in a case of judgment. What does it mean? If for one person, let's say, eating without beracha is not proper, for another person, eating without beracha, it's also not proper. We don't say, oh, because this person does so many mitzvot and gives so much charity, so we're going to have a flexibility. The Torah says no. HaKadosh Baruch Hu medakdek im tzadikav kehuta se'ara. God is strict with the righteous like the width of a hair. Meaning to say that whatever mitzvah is, it's a mitzvah. Whatever avera is avera. Amar, the Almighty says, Lo besabe ta'ama, belo bedardeki esa. I cannot reason with the elder, meaning to say Abraham, and I cannot get an advice from Yaakov. So what's the challenge that I have now? If Abraham and Yaakov are not defending the Jewish people, who is pending in the equation of Abraham, Ishaq, and Yaakov? Ishaq Avinu. Now, with this statement, we have a challenge. Why? Because what do we know? Abraham is Hesed. Abraham is kindness. What midah is Ishaq? Gevurah. What is Gevurah? Gevurah means discipline. Gevurah means strength. Gevurah means din. So what is Yehuda, Ishaq? Ishaq doesn't follow the color gray, either black or white, either guilty or innocent. That is the reason, by the way, I'm going to throw in something in the equation. Why the days of Rosh Hashanah are 2 days and not 1 day. Even in Israel, Rosh Hashanah, 2 days. The Gemara in Masechet Besa calls Rosh Hashanah Yoma Arichta, a day of 48 hours. Now, the Zohar asks, why Rosh Hashanah is 2 days or are 2 days? Why not 1 day? Short answer, the Zohar says, because if we need to select who is going to be the star of Rosh Hashanah, will be Ishaq Avinu. Because the shofar reminds us of the Akedat Ishaq. We don't call it Nisayon Abraham. We don't call it the challenge of Abraham, but we call it the binding of Ishaq. You know what this is telling me? That it was a greater challenge for Ishaq than to Abraham. And let's clarify, I don't want anyone watching me live or in this room to minimize what I'm saying, to say that the challenge for Abraham was much less. Definitely was a huge challenge to Abraham Avinu. Imagine yourself at the age of 100 years old, you become the father of your son Ishaq with your wife Sarah. 37 years later, God says to you, thank you for babysitting Ishaq, I need him back. Can you imagine that feeling? So the Akedah was a mega challenge for Ishaq Avinu and for Abraham Avinu. So the Zohar HaKadosh says, if we need to attribute the day of Rosh Hashanah to Ishaq Avinu, guess what? We are in trouble. Because what is Ishaq Avinu? Left or right? No middle of the road. Are you guilty or you are innocent? There is no gray. And gray, it's what most of us follow. Because if the world will be run black and white the way God originally intended in the creation of the world, when you read Perashah Bereshit, for the first few Pesukim, there is only one godly name appears, Elokim. Bereshit bara Elokim, Vayomer Elokim, Vayivra Elokim, Vayar Elokim, Vayikra Elokim, 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 Elokim. And we know this from the past. Elokim's name is the name of judgment. What is judgment? Guilty or innocent. No negotiation. No, let's make a deal. Not trading options, which it doesn't work. Trading doesn't work. You know, Rashi says, when God created the world, He wanted to create the perfect world. Reward and punishment. That's it. When God saw the first day that Adam and Hava were created, they already failed. Shitef imo midat rahamim. God welcomed compassion into the world. So guess what? Now we have Ishak Avinu. If Ishak Avinu is Mr. Strict, what is going to be his reaction when God says the Jewish people sin against you? So I want you to follow the Gemara. Please listen, avoid making comments. Listen to the Gemara, because this is, I personally consider, one of the most beautiful Gemarot of the Talmud. Haim Tovim. So, Amar lo Ishak. Imagine yourself, God, you are Ishak Avinu. And God is telling you, Ishak, your descendants are not behaving good. Your descendants, what should I do to them? Amar lo Ishak, Ribono shel Olam, Master of the universe, Banai belo banecha. Are they my children and not your children? Imagine yourself, your son comes back from school and it shows you the report card. And your wife tells you, Moshe, your son got an F in math. F of failing, not a fantastic. Your son got an F. Oh, look at my son, he got an A. Must follow my side of the family. Or must follow your side of the family. Can you relate to that? Or you tell that to your wife. Or the wife tells to the husband. So Ishak Avinu says, why? Because now they are not behaving. Suddenly you gave them up. They became ready for adoption. בשעה שהקדימו לפניך נעשה נשמע, קראת להם בני בכורי. Not only that, Ishak Avinu said, when it came to the giving of the Torah, and the Jewish people say, נעשה ונשמע, we will do and we will listen when no one else wanted. How did you label the Jewish people? Beni Bechori Israel, my firstborn. So now, because they dance to your music, they are the firstborn. And now that they are not, you say, I don't support you? Be'ot, and ask Ishak Avinu, Kama hat'u. How much can a person sin throughout life? The Gemara continues. This is Ishak Avinu negotiating a deal with God. Kama shenotav shel Adam. Tell me, how many years does a person live officially? The Pasuk says, Shiv'im Shana, chapter 90 of Tehillim, Yemei Shenotenu, Bahem Shiv'im Shana. From 0 to 70 is considered living. 70 plus is a gift, is a bonus. Sometimes can go to 80, 90, 100. Don't go anywhere now. Don't go anywhere. Okay, stick around. So let's say, excuse me? No, relax. Yeah, he's leaving tomorrow to New York for a simcha. Today, ma'asalam. Have a safe trip. Now, Dal Isrim, Delo Anshat Alayu. So let's do this. I'm going to put it in writing because I think it will make sense. So we mentioned 70 years based on the book of Tehillim. Take out 20. Why 20? Because from 0 to 20, there is no activation of judgment in the life of the person. There is no punishment. From 0 to bar or bat mitzvah, there is no accountability of the actions of the person. That's what the Gemara says. This was Daf Yomi, Mosa'e Shabbat. A girl is considered 12, a boy is considered 13. So from 0 to 12 or 13, there is no accountability from the actions. From 12 or 13 till 20, there is accountability, but there is no punishment. And that's why the Mishnah says, get married young. Ben Shemona Esrei Lahupa. Get married before you turn 20. Why? So the zechut of marriage will erase everything that happened from 13 to the age of 20. Let's go. Pashule Hamshin. How many years left over I have then? 50. Dal 25 deliluta. Remove 25 years because night. What do you do at night? So how many years left I have? 25 productive years. Pashule 25. Dal tarte sere ufalga. Remove 12 and a half. 12 and a half less. What do I do in these 12 and a half years of life? It says the Gemara, desaluye, we pray, umechal, we eat, ubebet akise, and we go to the bathroom. We take a shower, we eat, we drink, we sleep, we learn, etc. So what do we do, the Gemara says? Now you have pending 12 and a half years. We started in 70, now we went down all the way to 12 and a half productive years of life. The Gemara says, so what do we have? The majority of life was not with sins. Because when I sleep, usually I don't sin. Usually. There are ways of sinning while you sleep, by the way. Then you have prayer. That is, if you don't talk during the prayers. Very important. You eat. You learn Torah. All the beautiful things that we do. Now, comes Ishak Avinu, and it says, God, I don't understand you. We started on 70, and now it's 12 and a half. What's the percentage of 12 and a half out of 70? Let's do the number. 7 will be 10%. Okay? 14%. God, for 14%, you make such a big deal? This is exactly what Ishak Avinu says. I'm reading to you. The Lashon. Im ata sobel et kulam. If you're willing to absorb this, great. Bein lav, palga alay, ufalga alach. You know what? I'm willing to absorb 50% of the cost. So now, God, I want you to carry 6.25% of the liability. And for 6.25%, you're going to lose the deal. Not only that, comes Ishak Avinu and it says, you know what, God? I make a deal with you. I take the 12.5%. You take nothing. This is what Ishak says to God. What do you think? 6.5% will change me? Listen to the ways of Ishak Avinu, and it says, Ha karivit nafshi kamach. I was willing, Ishak Avinu says to the Almighty, to offer my life in your honor. And for a couple of hiccups, you're going to activate your judgment? What a beautiful answer Ishak Avinu says. The Gemara concludes, Bnei Israel will open up their mouth, and it says, Ki ata Avinu, Ishak Avinu, we owe you our existence. This is what the Jewish people will say to the Almighty. Amar lahem Ishak. Ishak Avinu says to the Jewish people, At she'atem mekalesim li, instead of you praising me, kalsu le'akadosh baruch hu, praise the Almighty that He was willing to accept my prayers. And the Gemara says that this will happen, B'ezrat Hashem, when Mashiach comes. But we need to understand what Ishak Avinu actually represents. So Ishak Avinu, as we know, has a lot of meanings. We mentioned number one, I'm writing this quickly, Midah of Geburah. Self-control and judgment. These are the three ways that we understand the name of Ishak, the Midah of Ishak. I wrote it in abbreviation, Geburah, it's in Hebrew, discipline, self-control, judgment. Guess what? We all need to have part of the DNA of Ishak Avinu. Because if we don't have the discipline, if we don't have the self-control, how can we serve God properly? We have the discipline of getting up in the morning, coming to pray, staying for breakfast, learning Torah. We have the discipline of going to kosher restaurants only. We have the self-control of not saying words which are not appropriate. All the times that we activate one of these words of Ishak Avinu, guess what? We are drawing a smile in the face of Ishak Avinu. Why? Because the word Ishak means a smile. That's why Ishak was called Ishak. Kol Shomeya Ishak li. Sarah said, whoever is going to listen, that I'm a 99 or 90-year-old women, and ladies, don't take it offensive, Haz v'shalom, but this is exactly what Sarah said. I'm 99 years old. Can you imagine? I'm going to tell my friends, where is the best place to buy diapers? Or I need to buy a Bugaboo baby stroller? Or Upa baby stroller? No, Graco and Geico. Geico is the car insurance. And Graco is the Pashut. Even McLaren is Pashut. Upa baby. Oh. Speak to your daughters or your granddaughters. Some of them are 4-figure strollers, by the way. 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, of course. Not $29.99. That used to be Toys R Us umbrella stroller special. Not anymore, believe me. I have grandkids, so I know exactly what's going on in the world. Anyways, so the word Ishak is smile. Sehok. So what do we understand? That when a Yehudi has this midot of Ishak Avinu, we draw a smile in the face of Ishak and we bring happiness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But perhaps we can throw in one more candy. Shlomo HaMelech says, Beshibachti ani et hasimcha. I praise happiness. David HaMelech says, Ibdu et Hashem besimcha. Serve God with joy. Whenever we say these words, people in their mind may say, Uli, the Torah is so bitter, the Torah is so much discipline. I don't want discipline. Guess what? When you're a soldier in the army, if you don't have discipline, you put your life in danger and the life of your fellow soldiers in danger. We are soldiers in the army of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Is actually a pasuk in Sefer Shemot. The pasuk says, Yaseu kol sibot Hashem me'eres Misraim. All the army of God came out of Egypt. But perhaps I can say one more. Let me think. Okay, I got it. I put it in writing so we understand this better. The word Ishak, it has different meanings. One we mentioned of smiling. laughter. Ishaq, besides this what I wrote, and I'll translate this quickly, it's a hint. Ishaq was the 10th test of Abraham. Sarah was 90. Abraham was 100. And Ishaq had the milah when he was 8 days old. These 4 things are hinted in this word. The yod is number 10. 8 days of the milah, and kof, 100 years of Abraham Avinu. Can you follow that? Here? Beautiful.
Count them.
Okay? Beautiful. Let's go now. Something what Rabbi Chaim Palachi brings down, not related to the name Ishaq, but related to the name, to the word Tzaddik. Rabbi Chaim Palachi explains, when I say the word Tzaddik, what does it mean, Tzaddik? Tzaddik means righteous. A righteous person. Today, the word Tzaddik, it's very easy to say. Everybody says Tzaddik.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the reason why we call people Tzaddikim is by calling them with a positive name, we activating the neshama to become that way. Tzaddik. Now, what does he explain, Rabbi Chaim Palachi? That the word Tzaddik is actually a message of how a person needs to function throughout the day. And it says, the word Tzaddik begins with the Tzaddik. That stands for the number 90. The Dalet for the Yod for 10, and the Kof for 100. Can you see it now? Okay. So he explains and it says, where is 90 in the life of the person? He says 90 amenim. A person must make the effort to say amen 90 times a day. A day. Dalet. Kedusha. 4 times a day, you say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Let's do the number. Yotzer in Shaharit, Nagdishach in Hazara, Uba Lesion, Kadosh, 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 and Mincha, Hazara, Kadosh. We have Kadosh, Kadosh, 4 times a day. 10. It says, Rabbi Chaim Palachi, the person must listen to 10 Kaddishin a day. When you listen 10 times Kaddish, then you're going to be able to have the Amenim. And 100 berachot a day, the way the Gemara writes, Hayav Adam levarech me'a berachot. A person must recite 100 blessings daily. According to some opinions, this includes the holy women. According to some opinions, it's related to men, but the more berachot we say, the better it is for the person. But let's find this out. How do I am able to fulfill this? Short answer, praying with a minyan 3 times a day. If you pray shaharit, mincha, and arvit with a minyan, guess what? You're going to be able to say the Kedusha. You're going to be able to listen to the Kaddish. You're going to be able to say Amen. But if you don't pray with a minyan, there is no Kaddish. So you cross out the Kaddish. And if you don't pray with a minyan, you only have 2 Kedusha instead of 4. And if you don't pray with a minyan, instead of having 90 Amenim, I'll tell you I'm going to have Baruch Hashem, Olam Amen, Amen, maybe 10 Amenim instead of 90. And Berachot, actually, Berachot, although come, what we're saying here, you want to know what is the baby step For righteousness, Rabbi Chaim Palachi says, Saddiq. Pray with a minyan. Pray with a minyan. Not only that, praying with a minyan, like it or not, is guaranteed delivery of our, to this one now, is guaranteed delivery to our prayer. The Gemara says, En HaKadosh Baruch Hu mo'es bitfilatam shel rabbim. God never rejects the prayer of the Sibur. Why do we call Sibur Sibur? Short answer, because the word Sibur, it's an all-inclusive word. We learned this today in the morning. Sibur stands for Saddiqim, Benonim, Reshaim. The holy, the middle of the road, and those that are far. But when we put them together, the zechut of the minyan leaves the neshama. But now comes one concept. Because in the word ishak, there is a tiny difference between the dalet and the het. You have in Yitzhak, you have the yod, you have the tzaddik, and you have the kof. But I'm missing the het. I have the dalet, and I have the het. So for that, we need to go to Kriyat Shema. When we say the Shema, the halacha says, when you say the word ehad, you're supposed to do what? Number one, do not split the word. When you say the word ehad, let's say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem ehad. If you say ehad, ehad, that's halachically inappropriate. Why? Because when you say the word ehad, you're saying there is no one. You are denying God's existence. God forbid. So don't say ehad. In Aramaic, the word means negative. Like we say in the Asher Yatzar, שאם יסתם אחד מהם, או אם יפתח אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים. It's impossible to remain alive if something that is supposed to be closed is open, and something that was closed, it was ruptured. So the word means negative. Means no. So if you say ehad, you're saying there is no God. God forbid. So what do? Ehad. Now what is the kavanah? That when a person says this word in the Shema, needs to include. So Aleph, it's number one. Hashem is one. Het equals number 8. The 7 heavens plus the planet Earth. And Dalet is the 4 corners of the world. That godliness, basically, it's revealed everywhere. Not only on the physical aspect of life, but even on the 7 levels of the heavens and the planet Earth, Hashem's presence, it's clear. As the Zohar HaKadosh explains, Memale kol ha'amim umsobeb kol ha'almin. The Zohar HaKadosh says that godliness not only surrounds the world, but godliness is inside of the world as well. As the Pasuk says, Melo kol ha'ares kevodo. The glory of the Almighty fulfills the entire world. This is how the Gemara of today concludes. I apologize if I went into overtime, okay? But, and I do have a ladies' class in a few minutes. Yes, that's a tough class, by the way. They ask questions. It's a good class. Pirkei Avot. Okay. Let's very quickly, I'll just give you the introduction of the Zohar, and Beli Neder tomorrow will try to speak about it. So the Zohar of today tells us about the great merit that a person achieves in life in this world, and afterwards as well in the concept of Torah learning. The pasuk writes, "B'shochbecha tishmor alecha, v'italechacha tanche otach." Throughout life, the Torah will guide our pathway. B'shochbecha tishmor alecha. When a person is laying down, the zechut of the Torah will protect the body and the soul of the person, but most the soul. V'hakisotah hi tesihecha. And when it comes to the time of Tehiyat HaMetim, the Torah will be your mouthpiece. In other words, the Zohar Kadosh says that don't think that the zechut of Torah learning, it has limited warranty. The Torah learning, the Zohar Kadosh says, has lifetime warranty. Before, during, and after. What is the after, the Zohar says? Bahakisotah. What's the meaning of the word bahakisotah? When you wake up. When are we talking about? Tehiyat HaMetim. After 120 years, we have the belief that when Mashiach comes very, very soon, B'ezrat Hashem, Tehiyat HaMetim will happen. How is going to happen? When is going to happen? These are questions that we don't have answers. But one thing is for sure. You need to have membership paid for Tehiyat HaMetim. Another mean membership in the synagogue. You can do that. The office is open, by the way. We have seasonal membership as well. I know you're a good member. Anyways, but what is the membership? The Zohar says the concept of Torah learning. That the words of Torah, and we said this a few weeks ago, will become the source of Tehiyat HaMetim. As the pasuk writes, Kital orot talecha. The dew of the words of Torah will be the dew that will come from the heavens to resurrect the human body. I gave you the very short version, so I did not say anything more than the brief introduction, but Beli Neder will discuss this a bit tomorrow, how Yosef HaSaddik, this is the opening statement of the Zohar, how Yosef HaSaddik was able to survive the challenging environment in Egypt, and how we all carry a DNA of Yosef HaSaddik throughout our life. Like we said before about Ishak Avinu, in the Gemara, the Zohar will say the same thing about Yosef HaSaddik. B'ezrat Hashem. So we'll save this for tomorrow. Beli Neder. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen be'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia אומר רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך. ירבה להם תורה מצוות שנאמר אדוני חפש למען